Hello, my name's Suzanne. I'm a student of Swinburne Online, and here's my project for 3C. Here we are, and I'm about to open up this knowledge pack, which is A Night in the Abyss, and explain it on my video. Please excuse a bit of a mess in the photo tent, which you'll see in a minute when I pan out. Okay, so A Night in the Abyss is a scientific exploration of the abyssal environment and creatures based upon the journey of the investigator research vessel, which was a voyage made in collaboration with Museums Victoria and international scientists. Okay, so having a look at the format of this, I've created the pack to be interesting from both a horizontal and vertical point of view. When you flip it over to the back, you can see it's vertical, like that, because I felt that it was just a bit more interesting than flipping it over like this and having very long text along the front. This is all going to be printed matte laminate with a spot UV varnish over the top. So this grey part is actually going to be more like touch marketing. It'll be highly reflective, and so will the title, a bit mysterious. A Night in the Abyss, but the logo will stay like it is now, so that'll stand out a bit. Anyway, flipping it over, as you can see, it's sort of locked together pretty well going through the post. People can have a read about this, which sort of introduces the investigator. And then when you open it up, we have some numbers showing on the side here. And sequential numbers 1, 2 and 3 telling us, okay, these are the parts that are inside. As you can see, they're pretty well contained. I was happy with these flaps. Alright, so opening it up a bit further, and there's no glue or anything like that, it's pretty easy to put together. Okay, so we've got the worldwide abyssal regions map. All of these things are in order, and I do expect people to open this pack in the daytime, because you know they're a bit curious. They're not going to wait until night time, so I got rid of any instructions I had written there, and I've just put simple instructions on each one about the glow-in-the-dark ink, because people are going to look through it in daytime and go, oh yeah, what's this stuff anyway. Alright, so with the map, I'm going to open it up. Basically, it's pretty easy to fold and unfold. I'll pan out a bit when I'm finished. Just let me read my spiel here. First of all, the backing. I decided to make this beautiful backing. It looks very scientific. It's good use typography to make it a bit more interesting. And then obviously sequential numbers, pretty easy for the audience to follow. And we've got the glow-in-the-dark map here, which is rather large. Folding this up is actually really easy. I'll just show you in a moment. But the other thing I wanted to point out was the proportionate size of the creatures in relation to each other, which shows you that sea spiders are enormous, and the deep sea lizardfish is actually bigger than the small-toothed cookie-cutter shark, and there's some really tiny things there too. The reason I made the map like this is, like all maps, it needs to be big. It needs to be proportionate, it needs to show what it has to show, in this case contours, abyssal contouring. And with the glow-in-the-dark ink, it just sort of really highlights how big the area is. At the moment in the daylight you sort of get a bit of an idea, but at night you'll just see massive glow-in-the-dark, which is indicating the whole abyssal area just a bit better. So it's pretty much the way this project has turned out. It's been good for daytime and for nighttime, because you've got all the parts to read during the day, and then you can shine your glow-in-the-dark torch on it. What's it say? This map glows in the dark. Shine a torch or light for 30 seconds and then turn it off to see whatever it is you have to see. And I followed that instructional kind of format for the whole thing. Anyway, I'll just pan out a little bit so you can see it. I'm just moving it back. So as you can see, my photo tent, it's a pretty big map. Anyway, I'll just come back in again and I'll fold it all up. Let me just get organised. My bit of black background paper is not big enough. Anyway, to fold it up, you just fold it like this and down. And it pretty much folds itself. It's really easy to fold up, even more than it is unfolding it. So that's what I like about that one. Now the field guide was an accordion fold initially, but I've done this sort of roll fold. So you unfold it like this, and then accordion fold. When it was just accordion fold, it was basically falling open. I'll show you an example of that. See, it just sort of falls open by itself. Whereas when you have the roll fold, it contains it like that, so it's not really falling open by itself, and that's why I like that. We've repeated some of this typography here, and as you can see, the pop-up works incredibly well. It's meant to be a very simple pop-up, and then you've got all the other parts. And we've also got a ruler measurement on the bottom, which is really good. It allows you to measure all the creatures as you're reading about them. So once again, good daytime application, and then at night you can turn off the light and view all the interesting creatures, including those enormous sea spiders. And some of my other favourites, like the blobfish. It's very interesting too. So that was really good. And then the last one, which I've got sort of mocked up in a really rough way with a button on it. This is where the plastic screw goes. It's a species distribution maps. And as you can see, they worked out pretty well. We got them printed on transparencies for the mock-up. They look pretty good, and you can use them either in the daytime or at night. The whole reason I had the glow in the dark at night was it just added an extra bit of fluorescence. So it sort of, you know, helped along with reflecting what the creatures were like and in the darkness of the abyss, and added to the sort of the experience of the whole thing. So as you can see, there's a humpback black devil, and rather than having all these transparencies just separate and getting lost and thrown around the place as different people use the pack, I think containing them like this just makes it more durable, and you won't lose all the transparencies, which are kind of hard to keep track of. I mean, even if you had them in an envelope, you know, someone might move them or play with them. It's just a bit silly. So yeah, just having a look at my notes. Yeah. So yeah, you place the species distribution maps on the larger maps, so a lot of interactivity between the two elements there. A lot of it's all about scaling and measuring, positioning and that type of thing, so it's more about scale, this whole pack. And what I really like about it is that people can get into their curiosity. They can see this pack during the day and get a little bit of their curiosity satiated, and then they get to do the glow in the dark bits as well. So it kind of, it's not just all glow in the dark and it's not just all daylight. It's a good combination of both. I didn't actually start out intending it that way. I started out intending a glow in the dark experience. But in the end, I think we've got the best of both worlds here. People don't have to wait to see what this pack's all about, and they can have a bit of fun with it, and it's got something for kids, for adults, for everybody. And the content is very funny. So the scientific content, where the humpback black devil female is a lot larger than the male, that was hilarious. And there was a few other weird things about the creatures too. The blobfish particularly is something I noticed there was a lot of merchandising on around the place, so it's become a very popular creature since it was first blogged about from the Investigator. Yeah, overall I enjoyed making this knowledge pack. I do think it's got some elements with the spot varnish and the glow in the dark elements that add to the abyssal experience and the abyssal creatures. And I do think people of all ages will enjoy it. Okay, cheers.